Just over 20 years ago, the world waited in horror to learn more about an explosion that had the potential to contaminate thousands of square miles with a cloud of radioactive fallout as the Chernobyl nuclear reactor disaster unfolded. It was an incident that many people had feared since the introduction of nuclear power stations. On April 26, 1986, and after a routine operation, Chernobyl's No. 4 reactor malfunctioned and began a meltdown, producing temperatures up to 10 times those of the Sun. But in the first crucial hours following the explosion, information about what had happened was kept secret, even from the Soviet leadership. Just 2 days after the accident, and under pressure from Western authorities, Mikhail Gorbachev ordered the Soviet government to open up in a way that the world had never seen. Rumors of an explosion had already begun to spread, and from the edge of town, people could see the reactor was blazing. About 1,000 people, mostly plant personnel, military conscripts, firefighters from the Kiev region, and emergency workers, bore the brunt of the inferno. Dozens of rescue workers were dispatched to the reactor. Authorities kept up the pretense that there was nothing to worry about. However, panic spread quickly. About 350,000 people were relocated from the contaminated area around the plant. Today, over 1 million people still live in the infected region. The World Health Organization estimates that over the next 70 years, some 30,000 early deaths could be attributed to the disaster. The eventual number of people affected may be as high as 1.6 million. In the aftermath of the disaster, thousands of staff and emergency workers were heavily exposed to radiation. The ghost town of Prepyatov, that stands almost in the shadow of Chernobyl's reactor No. 4, was one of the first to be evacuated. The town is now surrounded by barbed wire and watched by checkpoints. To hasten the evacuation process, the residents were told that they could return in a few days and that this was just a temporary safety measure. Believing such, the residents left nearly everything as it was, and today the town is a time capsule of that fateful night. However, sometime later, brave or foolhardy looters and vandals did visit the area and altered the timelessness appearance of the town. Incredibly, it took over 3 weeks before Mikhail Gorbachev finally revealed to the Soviet people the real extent of the disaster that had occurred at Chernobyl. Although the world paid a terrible price for the Chernobyl disaster, one positive outcome of the accident convinced the Soviet leader that the arms race had to be brought to an end. For the Soviet Union, the Chernobyl nuclear disaster was a catalyst that forced the governments to reveal its secrets, an unprecedented show of openness that paved the way for reforms throughout the Soviet Union. Amid concerns over climate change from human industrial pollution, new attention is being paid to nuclear power as an energy source. While today's nuclear power stations may not create greenhouse gases, accidents like Chernobyl have demonstrated the possibility of nuclear catastrophe. The storage of nuclear waste from such power stations is a major concern. All existing power stations use nuclear fission reactors, fueled by uranium and plutonium. But nuclear fusion reactors fueled by hydrogen, the process that powers the sun and stars, hold the potential for clean and safe nuclear energy. The world is faced with a choice of traditional power generation and global warming, or nuclear generation and its potential dangers to the world at large, as demonstrated by Chernobyl.